You spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 3rd year in a row.
So thank you so much for voting for us.
First, and hopefully there'll be a few more to come down the line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's because of you that we're proud to be the People's Channel. It's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
It's 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight, huge exclusive. I reveal illegal migrant gangs with deadly assault rifles are waiting in Calais. And protests outside the ridiculous mega mosque in Cumbria. Plus,
Change.
the only thing Sir Keir Starmer's changed is his mind. U-turn on benefits incoming from this lame duck Prime Minister. And find out why Prince William and Princess Catherine have been accused of animal cruelty. Plus, is 18 years old too young to be in charge of a local council? And
but we recognise the grim reality today that the nuclear threat is growing.
Sir Keir Starmer tells us to prepare for war, but who would fight for a Prime Minister who wants to prosecute our brave veterans? On my panel tonight, we have got the former Tory MP Anna Firth, we've got Conservative peer Lord Bailey, and Labour Party activist Chris Worrell. Oh, and just wait till you see what happens next here.
What's he doing? Oh my God! Oh my God!
All that and more, 9 to 11. And don't forget to catch me from 11 p.m. until midnight for Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. We've got a first look at tomorrow's newspaper front pages, what's inside the books and any breaking news. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Starmer's U-turned more than a drunk driver on a police chase. Next.
Very good evening to you. Back to Patrick shortly. First, though, a look at the headlines at 9 o'clock. The government is expected to announce a major climb down on its planned benefits shake-up after pressure from Labour rebels and its own backbenchers. Sources are saying tonight that existing claimants of personal independence payment and the health element of universal credit, they will keep their current support. Plans to help people into work will also be brought forward. More than 100 backbenchers had threatened to oppose the original proposals, and the government was facing likely defeat without concessions. Well, we're just hearing, in fact, the government is expected to announce a deal shortly. We'll bring that to you. 2 Met police officers have been sacked today with immediate effect for the strip search of a 15-year-old black girl at school. A search deemed disproportionate, humiliating and carried out while she was on her period. Known as Child Q, she was wrongly suspected of carrying cannabis and searched without an appropriate adult present. A third officer received a final written warning today. England's Children's Commissioner called it one of the most disturbing cases in recent memory and a line in the sand. The Met Force says it's deeply sorry and admits there were serious failings in both training and in oversight. 3 people are in hospital tonight after a double-decker bus carrying sixth form students crashed into a river in Hampshire. That bus was transporting pupils from Barton Perivale Sixth Form College when it left the road earlier today. 14 others were treated at the scene. Police confirmed soon after that all passengers were accounted for. 3 of those injured are being treated as high-priority cases. Major porn sites will introduce strict age checks for UK users from the 25th of July. It's part of new Ofcom rules aiming to stop children accessing harmful content online. The robust age verification will include methods like credit card checks, open banking or facial age estimation. It's the first time the measures will have been enforced in the UK. Ofcom says protecting young users is a top priority. And Anna Wintour is stepping down as editor at Vogue after almost 4 decades at the helm. The British-born fashion heavyweight is leaving the role she's held for 37 years. That is longer than any other editor, but will keep other senior positions at its publisher. The 75-year-old's credited with transforming the magazine since 1988, championing celebrity covers, although I haven't appeared on one just yet, and reinventing the Met Gala. Wintour's replacement has yet to be announced. Maybe not the cover, but the editorship, perhaps. Those are the latest headlines. I'll be back with you in an hour.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Good evening. Sir Keir Starmer came into power promising change.
Change.
The only thing he's changed is his mind. The big news today is that he's going to U-turn on welfare and benefits reform because his backbench MPs have had enough and they're about to rebel. Just 2 days ago, he said this.
Must have a welfare system fit for the future, and the current model doesn't work. It desperately needs reform. It leaves people trapped and not able to get into work, and so we need to reform it, and that's what we will do.
Then today, this happens. Yep, he's caved. There'll be massive concessions. It's a U-turn, and with it comes this. Sir Keir Starmer is being urged to sack his Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney. Well, that would come just a few months after he sacked his former Chief of Staff, Sue Gray. Remember her? And today, this headline also emerged. He's now being told to sack Rachel Reeves as well. And it gets worse for the Prime Minister because he's lost James O'Brien.
Got 2 of the biggest things they've done, the winter fuel and the welfare. You can use the word collegiate until you're blue in the face. You can tell me how uplifting and heartening it is to have leaders that actually listen, but from now till Christmas. But these are clangers of epic proportions that have been dropped upon the feet of the people who introduced them. These are huge missteps and mistakes. This is poor judgment.
Oh, well, let's have a look at the U-turn since you've been in office, Prime Minister.
Politicians who sat in government for many years, calling for inquiries because they want to jump on a bandwagon of the far right.
The rape gang inquiry was a far-right bandwagon. Now it's happening. Then there's this.
I don't want to cut the winter fuel allowance. I don't think anybody what government wants to do.
Yeah, but he said he was going to do it. And now he's U-turned on that as well. And this is Labour's manifesto, OK? It said that they will not increase national insurance. They have increased national insurance. He wanted to make the case for mass immigration.
To make the wider case on immigration. We welcome migrants. We don't scapegoat them.
Now he's saying stuff like this, isn't he?
We risk becoming an island of strangers, not a nation that walks forward together.
U-turn, U-turn, U-turn. The Prime Minister has U-turned more than a drunk driver during a police chase, and he's found out that he's even less popular than a fart in a spacesuit. Where are your principles, Sir Keir? What is your vision? He's lost his party and he's lost the country. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We have former Tory MP Anna Firth. We've got Conservative peer Lord Bailey and Labour Party advisor Chris Worrell. Anna, I'll start with you. I mean, the welfare and benefits U-turn that appears to be happening here is possibly a bit of a death knell for him. Do you think? He said he wasn't going to do it 2 days ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a surprise, isn't it? I mean, I'm amazed that it was even a question. You highlighted all his U-turns. I see him as a complete surrender merchant. He surrenders to everyone. Surrendered to the train drivers when he first came into office, surrendered to the EU over fishing rights, surrendered to the Mauritians over Chagos, surrendered to the Chinese over the super embassy, surrendered to the Spanish over Gibraltar, and now, surprise, surprise, he surrenders to his own backbenchers. So he won't be there. You mark my words, I don't think he is going to lead this party into the next election. He is finished. He's got no backbone. Do you know, £5 billion out of a welfare budget of £313 billion. This was only 1.5%. He can't even sort that. I think it's calamitous.
I mean, if he concedes on this, there's so much blood in the water for the Prime Minister, isn't there?
Look, there's a couple of things to say. Firstly, I sat on this sofa probably 2 years ago and told you he's built a coalition of disgruntled people where we were the target at the time. When he becomes a target, he will not be able to control them. This is what his big majority has delivered for him, an awful lot of pain. Well, the welfare, though, this is much more important than the fact that he's going to U-turn and it probably means a big problem for him. It's a big problem for the country. It is not fair to build a welfare system that traps people. It's not fair to build a welfare system that pays salary.
Do you actually support what he's trying to do then?
Listen, let's make this quite clear now. The size of our welfare bill is making poorer people in this country poorer. That is what it is doing. It is preventing our economy from providing work for these people, which is the best way to solve poverty. That is a fact. He even said that the system was unfair. And to U-turn on that goes well beyond...
So he should stick to his guns?
Listen, it goes well beyond his welfare. It's about our welfare.
Of course he should stick to his guns.
It's quite interesting, this, isn't it, Chris? I don't know where you stand on this, but we have two Conservatives here who appear to be backing what the Prime Minister largely wanted to do. And now he's being cut off at the knees by his own backbenchers, is he?
Well, he's got these, there's the Labour welfare rebels or these pipocrats that just don't understand, to the point Sean's making. The bill for PIP and disability has got up 20 billion since 2019, and it's set to go up another 18 billion by 2029. That is 2 lots of whole police budgets, right? We're looking at all the crime that we're seeing going up. It's 2 lots of police budgets. And when you look at, I think the IFS did a report last year on health-related benefits, and it's done a comparison across other countries. I think it's Australia, Austria, Canada, France, Germany, you name them. All of them, they have had... It's maintained the same level or declined in terms of their health-related benefit numbers. The UK is the only outlier going far out with a 40% increase in benefit bill, and you're wondering why. It's not like the amount of people on long-term sick is increasing. It's not. And you're looking at the percentage. We used to be in line with the average, about 1.6, 1.7. Now we're going up to 2.1.
So why doesn't he stick to his guns? This is the thing, OK? Why does he keep U-turning? Why can't he say what you've said there? He presumably would have the backing from a lot of right-thinking people in the country, and just do it, and make us all realise in 5 years' time that he's made the right decision.
Because you've got a bunch of these soft left guys and women as well that, they don't realise that the welfare system is like... It's acting like a dodgy cash machine, the amount of money it's throwing out at the minute.
Because he's fundamentally weak. He cannot stand up to his backbenchers. If he cannot stand up to his backbenchers, he is not a serious Prime Minister, and he's not up to the job. It's as simple as that.
It goes deeper than that. He doesn't have any beliefs. All Keir Starmer believed in is the fact that he wanted to be the Prime Minister. You saw it when he backed Corbyn. Corbyn was the best thing since sliced bread. The minute Corbyn wasn't, he just got rid of him. You know what I mean? He said anything he could, he would say anything to become PM. He's now PM. He's realised the job's much harder than it is, and a PM is only good if they have belief.
But what these backbenchers have all worked out, obviously, is that actually it's more in their interests not to back Keir Starmer than it is to back him.
So this is what I would like to put to you, is I think if he'd have done this first, he'd have probably got it through. But this comes off the back of winter fuel, it comes off the back of the farmers issue that he's had, a few other bits and bobs as well along the way, the rape gangs, of course, rape gangs, Mauritius, you name it. So is this an accumulation of negativity, do you think, that has resulted in them going, look, actually, you know what? We think you're a dud. We're not going to back you on this.
I think it's just the soft left trying it on. I think, we sit here with two Conservatives, right? They would back that bill. Reform, if you look at their manifesto in the last election, they were talking about forcing 1 million people back into work. If they didn't get a job within 4 months or take 2 offers, they would be cut their benefits. This is talking about a £5 billion cut on a system that is clearly broken. And he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. The fact that he's moving this in the right direction, he's offering concessions. It's painful to watch.
They've done the maths, though, Patrick. I mean, this £5 billion cut was supposed to impact 3 million people. Now, if they were distributed evenly, that would be over 4,500 people per constituency. How many Labour seats are there that have got majorities of less than that?
But this is it. So look, I mean, is he done here? I mean, this is a massive question of credibility. It's all very well and good him saying when he was at NATO, oh, this isn't a confidence vote. But, well, he got there, he realised he didn't have the confidence of his MPs, and now he's making concessions. I mean, he can't carry on like this, can you?
If he gets his bill through, Patrick, then he would have won the order of the day. I think what the reality is that 20 billion quid is about £550 a year. It's about £45 out of every average person taxpayer's pocket.
The trouble is, the backbenchers now know who's in charge. We all now know who's in charge, and it's not
Well, the Tory party's got some experience of this, hasn't it?
But this was a historic landslide. And within a year.
The size of the majority. Everybody in Labour celebrated the size of the majority. What they forgot was it gives you a larger number of people who can group together and rebel. And what's interesting about having so many new MPs, they're not used to being unpopular. So they come with very emotional arguments because they think they're going to lose, not realising that the country will reward you if you do the right thing.
I don't fully agree, though, Sean. Tony Blair had a smaller majority. He didn't lose a vote for 8 years. 8 years. Margaret Thatcher didn't lose a vote for 6.5 years.
Well, they had convictions.
John
They were
Major,
doing the right
that's
thing.
the issue.
That's as I said before.
He hasn't got any convictions. No one knows what he stands for. So if you're a backbencher, you're better off backing up.
It's an accumulation of weakness. You give up once, you give up twice, you give up 3 times, there will be a 4th or 5th and a 6th.
It's 120 out of 400 odd MPs, right? Yeah. And I reckon it'll get passed. There'll be some concessions that,
But why, though? Why doesn't he just not make any concessions?
Well, the reality is that, other parties play a lot of political football with these things. And the bottom line is he's been doing the right thing on a lot of these things. It's just every time that he gets,
So you must agree he's weak, Chris. You must agree this is weak leadership.
I'll tell you one thing we can agree.
I blame the backbenchers.
This is one thing I think Chris would agree with me, and he would have got this through. He would have got this through. He would have got this through. There would have been enough Labour MPs to support him, and certainly enough Tory support. He would have got it through. And what it would have showed those rebels is the man has a spine.
We've got 5% GDP for NATO that we've got to think about. The fact that they can't, these backbench MPs can't even look at this through a light of day is embarrassing.
Well, but isn't this Labour, in a way, being hoisted by their own petard? So we have about a quarter of the British population that is like registered disabled, which is nuts. 1 in 5, or I think 1 in 4.5 new cars in Britain is a motability vehicle. You've got about 625,000 16 to 24-year-olds who are on some form of benefit. We are broken, and we clearly have a huge amount of people on the take. That's before we've spoken about the 11 billion or so pounds worth of benefits fraud. However, Labour can't cut benefits, can they? He's been in politics for however many years, and at no point during that did he make the case for cutting people's benefits.
So who is going to have to pay for this, Patrick? Who is going to be paying for this now that Rachel's now going to have to find more money?
My point here is that he's being hoisted by his own petard, isn't he, in Labour?
PIP is not means tested. You could be on 100 grand and claim for lupus. There's a huge increase in young people on the take. We don't know the ethnicity data or any other, but the further details about who or what's doing this. But at the end of the day, incapacity benefits are those for who are significantly ill, out of work, and, you don't qualify. These should be a straightforward cut.
So let's have a look forward now. So Sir Keir Starmer, all the noises are, tonight he's going to make some concessions. We'll wait and see exactly what they are. But at some point, someone's head's going to have to roll on this. There's talk of Rachel Reeves. There's talk of his chief advisor, Morgan Sweeney, or chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney. What does he do? Politically speaking, how does he get out of this hole?
This demonstrates if he's strong or if he's weak, because the more senior the person is who goes, the stronger he is. Because I can imagine walking into Rachel Reeves' office and say, you're going to go, and she say, am I? Well, let's see, there's going to be a fight here, and him having to back down, whereas Morgan McSweeney, he'll probably be a bit easier to bump off.
That's 2 chiefs of staff in basically a few months.
In political terms, it might matter. In fact, it won't even matter to the party.
But the thing is, it's all very interesting to talk about, you know, who's going to lose their job and that. And to be honest, I don't really care which one of them. One of them, yes, of course, should go. What I really care about is who is going to have to now be footing the bill, because Rachel Reeves has done her budget on the basis of these savings. Now, it's pathetic in terms of the welfare, overall welfare bill, and they should have followed the Tories' plan, which would have saved them £12 billion. But someone is going to have to pay, and it's going to be normal people.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of other topics during the course of tonight's show, most notably this defence budget, you know, nuclear armed aircraft. I mean, how are we funding them? If it appears that Sir Keir Starmer can't make any concessions anywhere with the budget, so, you know, get ready to pay more tax. Coming up, it's been revealed that a county council in England is now currently being run by an 18-year-old after his boss fell ill. Is 18 too young to take on, well, the leadership of a council? Or actually, is it a good thing? But first, interesting head-to-head this. You might miss this. So the Prince and Princess of Wales have been slammed as out of touch by animal activists. In fact, they've been accused of animal abuse. Find out exactly what's going on there very shortly. Stay tuned.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our viewers and listeners. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Only on GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we are proud to stand for you, for the Britain you love, for the communities you live in. That's what makes us the fearless champions of Britain. Its voices and its values. Because we, at GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight. Are the Prince and Princess of Wales animal abusers? It's time now for the head-to-head. Well, Peter's at it again, this time aiming at the Prince and Princess of Wales for daring to breed their Cocker Spaniels. The animal rights activists say that the royal couple are, quote, out of touch and slam them for churning out a litter while rescue centres are overflowing. It comes after Kensington Palace released a photo of Prince William and dog Orla and her 3 puppies, snapped by Kate for his 43rd birthday. So, is it really cruel? Are the royals cruel for breeding their dogs? Oh, going head-to-head on this now, I'm pleased to be joined by Senior Corporate Projects Manager at PETA, Dr Carys Bennett, and dog trainer John Allison. Right, thank you very, very much. I think given the fact that this is basically a PETA story, we'll start with you, Dr Carys, if that's all right. So are you what, saying that they're cruel to animals? Are they animal abusers, the royal family?
Thanks, Patrick. It's totally irresponsible that the Prince and Princess of Wales have allowed their dog Orla to get pregnant and have puppies, because there's thousands of dogs that are languishing in rescue centres that are desperate for a home. Over 130,000 dogs were abandoned to shelters just in 1 year. So, you know, while there's all these dogs that are desperately needing a home, why breed more dogs into the world? It sends the wrong message. And in fact, you don't have to look far to see the right message. King Charles and Camilla adopted Molly, a lovely dog from an animal rescue. And we encourage everyone to do the same. If you're looking to have a companion animal at home, please go to an animal rescue, never breed dogs. And adopt and don't shop.
OK. I mean, I think, to be fair, they did also give all the Queen's corgis to Prince Andrew, so I think that's probably crueler. But anyway, John, I'll bring you in now, dog trainer. So do you think it's just a load of rubbish then? Is it cruel to allow your dogs to have sex and make puppies?
No, absolutely not. It's very important to note that it's natural for dogs to breed and create their puppies. I think it's absolutely ludicrous to label the royal family irresponsible. We just have to look at their incredible record of animal welfare and how much they have done for animal welfare throughout the country. Unlike an organisation like PETA, who only recently contributed to dogs being put in rescue centres when they supported the banning of the XL bully, when they know fully well that this was the wrong decision to make. So, you know, what we need to look at here is that we've got a litter of stunning puppies, only 4 puppies. The royal family will keep one of these puppies, you know, and they will go to fantastic homes. And it's very important, again, to highlight the record, impeccable record of animal welfare and the contributions that the royal family have made to this.
OK. Dr Carys, my wife is currently pregnant. Should we not have done that? Should we have adopted an orphan instead?
Look, we're talking about dogs here.
Well, no, but it's the same principle, isn't it?
When we think about what happens to these dogs in the shelters...
What about orphans?
Yes, some of them are lucky and they get adopted, but
yeah,
the tragic
like orphans.
Truth is that over 26,000 a year in the UK are euthanised. They're put to sleep because there just are not the homes for them. Because there's just, you know, breeders churning out litter after litter of puppies and selling them off for cash. It's not in the dog's best interests. They are treated like commodities. Many of these pedigree breeds, they have breathing problems. They have shortened faces. I'm talking about pugs, French bulldogs, dogs like that, and others like Dachshunds have spinal deformities. It is irresponsible and beyond that.
But that's not these, though, is it? To be fair, these are Cocker Spaniels. They can be working dogs. I don't, John. Look, is there something to be said for this, though? To be fair, and you know, I'm going to claim full disclosure here. Every single time my family has ever got a dog, it has been a rescue dog. It has been from the local shelter or something. And look, for all the kind of pushback I've just given Dr. Carys there, to be honest with you, there is an element of this about it, which is that there are a load of dogs there that you know, you kind of mongrel types that are in that shelter somewhere. There, you know, give them a life, give them a good life. So, you know, maybe the royals could be setting an example.
So, what you need to look at here is that, as the doctor clearly pointed out, the King Charles and his wife, the Queen, they very, very nicely, you know, welcomed a rescue dog into their home. Fantastic. This is 2 elder adults who are in a position to do so. Prince William and Princess Kate have a very young family. Most rescue centres will not rehome a rescue dog into a home with young children due to safety. So there's the first point. So they may not have been in a position to do so. Secondly, when you bring a rescue dog into your home, you're not fully aware of that dog's backstory, its genetics, any past traumas, etc. How can you safely bring that into a home with young children? It would be irresponsible to do so. They've brought in another young dog to their family, that they're fully aware of that dog's history. They've got 3 generations of the Cocker Spaniels being bred by the brother-in-law of Prince William. When you bring a dog into your home, it's seriously important to understand that dog's background, its health, its genetics, etc. PETA, not so long ago, were trying to push dogs to eat a vegan diet. I think we know where this is all going here. It's all about supporting PETA's own human emotions rather than what is right for the dogs.
I'll just take that one step further, Dr. Karras, if that's all right, and just ask you, do you support the monarchy?
Look, this isn't a question of whether Peter supports the monarchy or not.
It might have a relevance, mightn't it? You know what I mean? Like, if you do support the monarchy, you might be more inclined to not really care about this. But if you don't, then you might be looking for any excuse to kick them.
This is about a decision that millions of people are making, with more people than ever before having dogs in the UK. But there's hundreds of thousands of them being born every year while dogs are dying in rescues for lack of a good home.
I'm not getting very strong monarchist vibes here from you, Dr. Karras. I'm not getting very strong monarchist vibes here, Dr. Karras, I'll be honest with you.
Look, we've got to look at what is in the best interest of dogs. And if you're going to have companion animals in your home, it is such a big commitment. There's huge vet bills, there's the time needed, and the love and care that you need. And if you go to an animal rescue centre, they are the experts, groups like the Dogs Trust and the PCA.
Patrick, if we could just add in there before we finish.
Go on, quickly, John, go on.
If we could just add in there before we finish, I would love to know Peter's response to the contribution of the dogs being euthanised and put into care after they supported the irresponsible banning of a dog breed just in the recent times.
Being the XL bully, I'm assuming, talking about that, John.
Yes. And attacks have continued to rise since the banning of the XL bully, so we clearly understand that this is the wrong decision. The banning of an individual breed was incorrect. As we all know, we have dangerous dogs, but it's not breed specific. These dogs are now in rescue centres, have been euthanised, and that decision was supported by PETA, so I would love to know the response to that.
OK, well, quickly, Dr. Karras, if you don't mind,
PETA did not support the euthanising of dogs. We supported a ban on breeding these dogs. In fact, we don't think any type of dog breeding should be allowed because there's so many dogs, hundreds of millions worldwide that are on the streets struggling to survive or are in rescue centres. So, you know, this is a problem humans have created and we've got to deal with it in the most humane way possible.
We're going to have to go. Look, we wanted a head-to-head. We certainly got one. Thank you very much, both of you. It's Senior Corporate Project Manager at PETA, Dr. Karras Bennett, and dog trainer John Allison. Coming up, we've got talk of conscription, OK? In fact, the Church of England, just before I came on air, has come out, and I'm not joking now, has said that they're placing the Church of England on a war footing. Weird. Well, a big media splash as well about prosecuting British soldiers. The authorities are still hinting at nuclear war. Realistically, would anyone go and fight for Keir Starmer if he might lock you up for what you do over there? But next...
Two-party politics just died in front of our eyes.
There is an 18-year-old running a county council. Is that a good thing, or actually, is he too young? Stay tuned.
Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Hello. Lots of hot and sunny weather around the Mediterranean at the moment. Temperatures rising again in Spain. Quite a brisk breeze blowing at times over the Canaries. Some fine sunny weather here. A bit breezy too along the Portuguese coast, but a lot of sunshine across much of Iberia, through Italy and across the Greek islands as well. It'll turn a little cooler across the eastern Med as we head into the weekend, but temperatures continuing to rise in Spain and Portugal on Saturday and Sunday.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Hello again and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Hot and sunny weather is on the way for many by the end of the weekend, but for the next 24 hours it's going to be very changeable, very mixed across the country, with thicker cloud returning to many northern and western parts overnight and outbreaks of rain along with tighter isobars. That means a freshening breeze. We do start with some clear spells during the evening, but quite quickly the thicker cloud rolls in from the west and we're going to see dreary conditions by dawn, especially towards the northwest, with outbreaks of rain for Western Scotland, Northern Ireland, Northwest England, North Wales. After some rain moves through earlier in the night, it's drying up by this stage across southern parts of the UK. Even some sunshine first thing through southern England, parts of the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast. But thick cloud further north and low cloud at that, so it's going to be covering some of these hills in Western Scotland, misty conditions around the coast. Drizzly outbreaks of rain, especially for central and western Scotland into northwest England, Northern Ireland. That rain will be on and off, but it will be persistent over some of the hills and mountains. Likewise for North Wales, but drier for South Wales, just one or two light showers. Equally, a few spots of rain, perhaps over Dartmoor, but mostly dry towards the southwest. And the best of the sunshine during the morning will be through the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast, where it will feel warm and increasingly humid once again, with the wind coming from the southwest. And that wind will be picking up strength across northern parts of the UK, bringing more persistent and heavier rain into Western Scotland, northwest England by the end of the afternoon, making it feel on the cool side, but temperatures up to 27 or 28 Celsius, where we see the sunshine in the southeast. That leads us on to a muggy night for sleeping and a grey start to the weekend for many of us. Now, the areas of rain across Scotland sink south into central parts of the country by Saturday afternoon and then fizzle away as high pressure builds in from the south. That's going to import much hotter air by the end of the weekend and the start of next week.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock, only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. Well, we're going a bit off script here because there are some very big rumours doing the rounds in this newsroom, not just in this newsroom, in Westminster, actually. Westminster is abuzz of quite a big announcement that's about to be happening, and we think we might be able to bring you that in a few minutes. Hey, look, you know, you turn if you want to. I'm not for turning, but you turn. Maybe I'm giving it away there, but hey, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, we think we might have some news for you in a few minutes, so stay tuned. But before that, the newly elected leader of Warwickshire County Council has quit, sadly, and now it's an 18-year-old. So George Finch is to serve as interim leader until a new council leader has been chosen, with the teenager not ruling out running for the top job permanently. Fair play to him. Meanwhile, the first YouGov poll since the election shows a hung parliament, with Reform UK as the largest party. So that's the latest poll. There you go. 271 seats for Reform is the latest poll. Largest party. So could we see more teenagers? Realistically, the question is this, isn't it? Is 18 too young to be running a council? Well, I'm joined now by Reform UK councillor Harrison Almanvati. Thank you very much. Tremendous to have you on the show. I think I might be able to guess what you're about to say, but is 18 years old too young to be running a county council?
I actually ran for election when I was 18. The first time I could ever vote was for myself. I didn't exactly do it for the pickup line, but no, it was, to be honest, I think absolutely fair play to him. I think there's lots of steps here that's enabled him to get to that. First of all, he got a absolutely thumping majority. He got about 60% in his ward. Secondly, he then had to be selected by his group. And then thirdly, it had to be agreed at full council. So there's lots of steps, right? And when you're getting a deputy leader, you know full well that if in any situation, that person might have to step up. So I personally think I'm all for it. I think, at the end of the day, these are common sense ideas, and essentially we're talking as if the bar's high already. There's a reason why Reform has done so well in these local elections. It's because councils keep going bankrupt. So it's like, well, maybe we need a change from what we've been used to.
Well, I suppose, to be fair on the 18-year-old chap in question here, he's never covered up a grooming gang, has he? Or, stopped taking people's bins out or racked up billions of pounds worth of debt, which the other leaders of various councils have managed to do. So I suppose in that sense, it is quite a low bar. Look, the obvious point here, I think, will be that the vast majority of people who live in that area will be over the age of 18. In fact, some of them will be very significantly over the age of 18. And it might not inspire confidence in them that there is someone who's just straight out of school who is running their local area, and a big budget as well for the council.
Well, look, let's not be mistaken. He will be surrounded by advisors, many of whom who'd have been in there for years in that council, OK? So those of a technical nature will be still taking care of the same people. It's just the fact that he is, it's the big decisions, really. But like I said, it's common sense. And I think essentially there's not too much harm that an individual could do anyway if we're going to go down that route, because they're surrounded by people who have been doing that job for a long, long time. So personally, I think, and I think for the Conservatives to try and trip him up on this, I think it's pure ageism. We don't know how good or bad this person is going to be. And I think the Conservatives really should focus on getting young people to vote for them in the first place. They're heading for extinction and irrelevance anyway, so I think anybody taking notice of them is a complete waste of time.
I suppose both major parties, as in historically major parties, the Conservatives and Labour, are a little bit trapped by this, aren't they? Because Labour wants votes for kids as 16-year-olds. Sir Keir Starmer's campaigned on it. He's reiterated it since coming to office. So they are adamant that 16-year-olds are able to vote, which should mean that if you are 18 and you are elected, then supposedly you can run a council. And the Tories need all the votes they can get. And dare I say, alienating 18-year-olds and saying that you're not compos mentis enough to do a decent job is probably not the best way to go about that, is it?
Well, I think the Conservatives are just on their own self-destruct path. I think they're just heading for irrelevancy. You touched on that MRP poll there. Why anybody would vote Conservative now in the first place is just
let's
beyond
bring
me.
that up. Sorry to cut you off, mate, but let's bring that up if we're talking about it. We've got this MRP poll. I don't know if we can bring that back up, guys. If that's what, there we go. Good stuff. So go on. You were saying, Harrison.
I just think, let's look at it like this. In Blockbuster's final days, right? Imagine if you're on Netflix and Blockbuster comes and goes, actually, let's do a partnership. That's essentially what the Conservatives are trying to do with Reform. I say, on your bike, you've had your chance, you've had a few chances over a long time, and you've squandered it. And I think that is what the feeling is of this poll, is essentially it's a feeling of the two major parties which we've relied on now since time has begun. And people have thought, well, why wouldn't I vote differently? Why wouldn't I vote for this alternate party? And that essentially is the driving force behind why Reform have done so well.
OK, so you are of the view, then, that this 18-year-old chap has the accumulated life wisdom? Because the argument about the Labour Party's front bench at the moment is that a lot of them have never had a proper job in their lives, that they've only ever worked in the public sector, frankly, if at all, and some of them can't even be honest about what it is they have done, and that, therefore, they're not fit to run a country. I mean, Nigel Farage's even said that. He's on record saying it. They haven't worked properly in their lives. They're not fit to run a country. So, to be absolutely fair, and by the way, I am incredibly sympathetic to this lad, and I do think he should go on, and if he wants to throw his hat into the ring, he should, because fundamentally, if you're good enough, you're old enough, right? So absolutely fine with that. But the argument is very clear, even from potentially Nigel Farage, which is that if you haven't got real-world life experience, then you shouldn't be in politics.
We've been relying on real-world life experience in these councils forever. The average age of a council in this country is 60, and it's one of the worst-run organisations that we've got in this country. Everybody complains about their local council. They are mismanaged, they're run. So I say, go back to my main point is, what are we missing here in the first place? It's a case of people are so upset that I don't really know what they're going to be missing in the first place. I think it's nice that we're going to have someone who's fresh, will have new ideas, will have completely different exposure and experiences, and I say bring it on.
Well, you know what? Maybe, well, we'll see what happens. But you are right, and I am keen to stress as well, for all the big hoo-ha about this, supposedly it is an interim position, and also my understanding of the way that councils are run is that essentially it's the chief executive of the council that tends to hold most of the power, and this is not this 18-year-old lad. So there we go. Well, anyway, you take care, Harrison. I'll see you soon. Harrison Alman-Varty there, who is a Reform UK councillor. What do you think? I can see that one dividing opinion now. Can I just say as well, I'll say it again, I've said it before, we are waiting for potentially quite a big announcement here now. News has just filtered through to us out there. Potentially some quite large announcement from the government, maybe in relation to some of the welfare reforms, so watch this space. But anyway, we'll bring that to you when we're allowed to. Before that, it's time for the Great British Giveaway. It's your chance to win £54,321 in tax-free cash, and here is the one and only Hayley Sparks.
We're here at Downhall in Essex to enjoy the finer things in life, and it's your chance to win £54,321 in cash. It's like having an extra £1,000 in your bank account each week for a whole year, which means that you'd be able to indulge in treats whenever you wanted to. That extra cash each week could send some of those day-to-day financial stresses packing this year, to enable you to sit back, relax and do nothing. Make sure you don't miss out on our biggest cash giveaway to date.
For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Coming up, huge exclusive for you. I think it's probably the biggest one from Calais yet, actually. I'm going to reveal the extent to which those migrant gangs are armed to the teeth and quite possibly on their way to Britain. Also, do we think our authorities are going to do anything about those massive guns? But next, protests kicked off outside a new mega mosque in Cumbria. So, why are residents so angry? Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christys here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News, anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
OK, everybody, well, just hang tight, because it appears sources are saying that Sir Keir Starmer and the Labour Party are about to make a substantial U-turn on the welfare and benefits reform. We believe that it might be relating to PIP payments. We're hopefully going to be able to give you more detail on that very, very shortly. But wow, that is a big deal, isn't it? So we were talking about it earlier on. All the noises are going to be that Keir Starmer would have to cave. And from what we are hearing right now, it appears that we are going to get a U-turn, according to sources, very shortly. Well, before I bring that to you, a controversial plan to build a £2.5 million mega mosque on the edge of the Lake District is underway, despite fierce local opposition. Construction of the new mosque began in January this year after 30 objections to the planning application. It's worth noting that that council has also rejected some things like, for example, a local children's home, I believe, as well. So that was a no £2.5 million mega mosque. Yes. Now, protesters for and against the scheme are clashing in Dalton and Furness. Let's have a look. So it's kicked off a bit. Supporters insist that the new mega mosque is a much-needed place of worship for, these are their words, hundreds of Muslim families in the area. And they accuse anyone concerned about the three-storey mosque of being a far-right racist. Well, it's interesting, really, because I actually don't think the census figures are on their side there when it comes to the number of Muslims in the area, but other locals have dubbed the mosque, quotes, a monstrosity. I'm joined now by the Senior Fellow at the New Culture Forum, Dr. Philip Gazzelli. Dr. Philip, thank you very much. Now, I actually lived in the Lake District. I appreciate this isn't quite in the Lake District, but lived in Cumbria for a long period of time, and I know it well. I was up there the other weekend. And I don't think that there is much need for a £2.5 million mega mosque, is there?
Yeah, Patrick, it's great to see you again. No, I don't think there is. This is right on the edge of a conservation area. It's a heritage site, and the clue there is in the word conservation. It's about conserving. It's about conserving something of the culture. This is a very aggressive move. It's intrusive. I'm just looking at it now. It's a big carbuncle it's a concrete mess is kind of what it is, really. It's huge. There really is no need for this. So I can really understand how people feel. It's not about blending in. I mean, look at it. It really isn't about blending in. It's about changing the environment. It's about changing the culture. It's about altering, and I think that's the real problem, Patrick. I don't agree. I agree with you. I don't think the census figures stack up there. And I think this is about, it represents, sorry, just to make the point, it represents something broader that's going on in the culture, doesn't it?
OK, well, talk to me about that, because the accusation will be that if you're against the mega mosque, then you are a far-right racist who just doesn't like Muslims. So what would you say to that?
Well, I think those kind of just broad accusations just don't really mean anything anymore, I don't think. It's like the old, you were a racist, then you were a white supremacist, now you're an absolute Nazi. If you don't support massive cultural change of the scale and pace been happening. And I think this, again, just represents that. This is massive cultural change. And we have a right, I think, in this country to celebrate our heritage and to conserve something of that heritage, especially when it's related to beauty and physical beauty, which I think the Lake District is. As you know, you live there, it's very much about beauty. Again, this is a blot on the landscape. This really clashes with that. But it's not just about aesthetics. Again, it's about culture, but it's also about this aggressive stance. There is no discussion here. There is no give and take. This is, we want this, we need this, you will have to have it. It will change the culture. It will change the place, the environment. So what? And I think people either consciously or subconsciously react to that very negative way because they're threatened by it.
Well, there's also, look, I mean, we can't have it both ways, right? So the British countryside, we are continually being told by the Guardian reading lefties is racist. Just the pure existence of the countryside is racist. Well, it can't be that racist, can it, really? If the local, firstly, it just isn't. I mean, most of the tourism up there, by the way, is from people from Japan and from all sorts of places like that. The idea that the locals are racist is complete rubbish. But also, it can't be that racist if the local council's approved what I regard as being a largely unnecessary mega mosque. So we'll have to watch this space. I am afraid, sorry, we are a bit out of time because I've got some quite big news I want to bring people in a second. But thank you very much. So, Dr. Philip Gazilli there. Of course, the case would be that, it's here to service the existing Muslim community. I suppose the case against that would be, is it to try to drive people, actually, more Muslims to the area? The South Lakes Islamic Centre, they say, isn't a threat to Cumbria, as the hard right media and politicians believe. There we go. So that's their statement there. Coming up shortly, I am going to be giving you a taste of Calais. Get a load of this. Look, it's a big exclusive for you, this. I'm going to show you something that the government and the Home Office and Border Force do not want you to see. I think you have a right to see it. I think you have a right to know it. I think you'll be very concerned about it and want something done. So, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'll see you in a couple of minutes' time.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed home battery storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello again and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Hot and sunny weather is on the way for many by the end of the weekend, but for the next 24 hours, it's going to be very changeable, very mixed across the country, with thicker cloud returning to many northern and western parts overnight, and outbreaks of rain along with tighter isobars. That means a freshening breeze. We do start with some clear spells during the evening, but quite quickly, the thicker cloud rolls in from the west, and we're going to see dreary conditions by dawn, especially towards the northwest, with outbreaks of rain for Western Scotland, Northern Ireland, Northwest England, North Wales. After some rain moves through earlier in the night, it's drying up by this stage across southern parts of the UK. Even some sunshine first thing through southern England, parts of the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast. But thick cloud further north and low cloud at that, so it's going to be covering some of these hills in Western Scotland, misty conditions around the coast. Drizzly outbreaks of rain, especially for central and western Scotland into northwest England, Northern Ireland. That rain will be on and off, but it will be persistent over some of the hills and mountains. Likewise for North Wales, but drier for South Wales, just one or two light showers. Equally, a few spots of rain, perhaps over Dartmoor, but mostly dry towards the southwest. And the best of the sunshine during the morning will be through the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast, where it will feel warm and increasingly humid once again, with the wind coming from the southwest. And that wind will be picking up strength across northern parts of the UK, bringing more persistent and heavier rain into Western Scotland, northwest England by the end of the afternoon, making it feel on the cool side, but temperatures up to 27 or 28 Celsius, where we see the sunshine in the southeast. That leads us on to a muggy night for sleeping and a grey start to the weekend for many of us. Now, the areas of rain across Scotland sink south into central parts of the country by Saturday afternoon and then fizzle away as high pressure builds in from the south. That's going to import much hotter air by the end of the weekend and the start of next week.
A positive outlook through the night will power through to a bright day ahead. Boxed home battery storage, sponsors of weather on GB News.
£54,321 in totally tax-free cash could make your year the best yet. How would you react if you got that winning call?
Oh my God, I'm going to cry. Oh my God. Thank you.
But you weren't expecting to get that call today, were you?
No, I wasn't.
For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk now? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 3rd year in a row.
So thank you so much for voting for us.
First, and hopefully there'll be a few more to come down the line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's because of you that we're proud to be the People's Channel. It's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
It's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight. Huge exclusive. I reveal illegal migrant gangs with deadly assault rifles are waiting in Calais. That's the back of a lorry. Are they bringing them to Britain? And...
But we recognise the grim reality today that the nuclear threat is growing.
Sir Keir Starmer tells us all to prepare for war, but who would fight for a Prime Minister who wants to prosecute our brave veterans? On my panel this evening, we have got former Tory MP Anna Firth, Conservative peer Lord Bailey, and Labour Party activist Chris Worrell. Before I play you the next clip, I want to say something as well. We are hearing strong rumours, sources saying that we are about to get a massive U-turn when it comes to the welfare and benefits bill, especially when it comes to PIP payments. But I'll be telling you all about that in more detail when I'm allowed to. But also, what's happening here?
What's he doing? Oh my God! Oh my God!
All that and much more. Oh, and don't forget to catch me 11 p.m. until midnight for Patrick Christys Tonight Late Edition. It's a first look at tomorrow's newspaper front pages, what's inside the book, any breaking news as well. And I'm going to be taking you to North Korea and Iran. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. An illegal migrant exclusive that could quite literally blow your head off. Next.
Very good evening to you. The top story tonight, well, it is breaking news that the government is expected to announce a dramatic U-turn on its planned benefits overhaul to avoid a major Commons rebellion. Sources are saying tonight existing claimants of personal independence payment and the health element of universal credit will keep their current support. Plans to boost employment help will also be fast-tracked. More than 100 backbenchers had threatened to rebel, leaving ministers facing near certain defeat. Well, as Patrick said at the top of the hour, we are expecting an announcement to confirm that climb down within just minutes, and we will, of course, bring you the very latest right here on GB News. Meanwhile, the NATO alliance is more lethal than ever. That is how the Prime Minister described it today, as world leaders have committed to boosting defence spending. Sir Keir Starmer said the UK will spend 5% of GDP on national security by 2035, along with rebuilding Britain's nuclear deterrent. He told MPs in the Commons today that the plan will create 20,000 jobs and secure Britain's place on the global stage. The pledge follows new warnings about threats from Russia, from China and from Iran. Well, here's what the Prime Minister had to say in the Commons earlier.
It has kept this country safe for decades, but we recognise the grim reality today that the nuclear threat is growing. So we are renewing our existing at-sea capability, and we are going still further. I can tell the House today that we will procure at least 12 F-35A fast jets, and we will make them available to bear nuclear weapons if necessary. Mr. Speaker, this marks the return of the Royal Air Force to nuclear deterrence for the first time in 3 decades, the biggest strengthening of our deterrence posture in a generation, keeping our country safe while also supporting 20,000 jobs.
Well, I'll bring you an update from the Met Police in just a moment, but first a breaking line on that story around that anticipated U-turn later. We're just hearing a line from the Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride from the Conservative Party saying that this is yet another in a latest and growing list of screeching U-turns, he says, from a weak Labour government. That is, as tonight we are expecting to hear on a U-turn from the Labour government as the Conservative Party, again, as I say, saying tonight that is the latest in a growing list of U-turns. Keir Starmer's inability, Mel Stride continues, to get welfare spending under control will see families across the country slapped with even higher taxes to pay for it. We can't, he says, afford Labour. So any more developments and lines coming into us from across the political spectrum, we will, of course, bring to you here later this hour. Meanwhile, 2 Met Police officers have been sacked today with immediate effect for the strip search of a 15-year-old black girl at school, a search deemed disproportionate and carried out while she was on her period. Known as Child Q, she was wrongly suspected of carrying cannabis and searched without an appropriate adult present. A third officer received a final written warning. Children's Commissioner for England has called it one of the most disturbing cases in recent memory. The Met Force, meanwhile, has said it is deeply sorry and admits there were serious failings in both training and oversight. And the pound has surged above $1.37 today, hitting its highest point in almost 4 years. The markets are reacting to reports that Donald Trump might replace the head of the US Federal Reserve sooner than expected. The president slammed Jerome Powell, calling him terrible and hinting at a change. Traders say they're worried that Trump could pick someone more aligned with his views, weakening the dollar. Those are the latest headlines for now. Do stay with us for more on that breaking news right here with Patrick.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Good evening. I'm going to show you something now that Sir Keir Starmer and the Home Office don't want you to see. As you know, I went to Calais a few weeks ago and exposed just how bad the problem really is. And I stand before you today, currently stood in the middle of an illegal migrant warehouse full of young Sudanese brants. You will see an overhanging warehouse full of more Sudanese men. All of these people are on their way to Britain. Since then, I've been doing my best to expose the illegal migrant gangs, showing how easy it is to get their personal information, their locations, and, if the authorities really wanted to, get them nicked.
Hello, my friend, how are you? My friend, you must tomorrow come here in Calais, and after tomorrow we go, inshallah. Okay? You must tomorrow to come here the morning.
We have handed over the details of several human traffickers. Now, Labour wants you to believe everyone coming over in those boats is a vulnerable woman and child.
And when you see that the majority of the people in these boats are children, babies and women who have been...
No, they're not.
Well, today, the situation has escalated massively, and I am pleading with the National Crime Agency, Sir Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper to step in and do something. I think that they need to see this, and I think that you deserve to know the truth. I received this video from a human trafficker. That gun appears to be an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. Specifically, I think it looks a lot like this gun. It's a Hatsan Escort tactical shotgun, and if you look as well, it appears on that casing that you'll see behind the weapon there, it appears to have the word Escort written on it. Now, AR-15s are commonly used in American mass shootings, and the Washington Post says that AR-15 fires bullets at such a high velocity, often in a barrage of 30 or even 100 in rapid succession, that it can eviscerate multiple people in seconds. The smugglers' TikTok page shows people coming across in the back of lorries. It also shows him bringing people over in boats. Yeah, that is, for the record, by the way, another lorry, but there are boat clips on his TikTok as well. And I know that he has been organising crossings from this precise location in the last few days. So I have had confirmation that he is organising boat crossings from that exact location, OK? What is there to stop him bringing that across the channel, that semi-automatic rifle, or arming other illegal migrants with it? Now, we have handed, yet again, all our information and evidence to the authorities. And I'm begging them, please act on it. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We've got former Tory MP Anna Firth. We have Tory peer Lord Bailey and Labour Party advisor Chris Worrell. Anna, I'll start with you. I mean, this guy is armed to the teeth. He will by no means be the only one. He's getting everyone else into Britain. This is a major threat, is it not?
Of course it is, and I can't believe that you haven't had a response, and I can't believe the National Crime Agency are not taking action. I mean, anybody arriving on our shores with a weapon like that is an aggressive act. That's, you know, this is way beyond people just coming here illegally. I mean, that is an invasion. That is somebody who threatens us. There's no other reason reason to have a weapon like that. Of course, we don't know for sure that they're bringing those weapons across, but why are they sending you photos of these weapons? What this shows categorically and beyond any shadow of doubt is that Keir Starmer has completely lost control of this issue. He said he was going to smash the gangs. All he's done, as we all know, is smash records. We now know that in the first 5 months we've had double the number since last year. Record numbers are coming, and he's not getting a grip on this. Now, the question is, one of the things the Conservatives were doing was going upstream and actually trying to arrest people. And in fact, they arrested 1,300 people and gave them sentences worth over 1,000 years.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, it still wasn't good enough, to be fair, Anna. But I don't know if we might be able to bring up the pictures of that weapon again, if that's possible, if we can bring up. So there it is, all right. This guy has that, and presumably others as well. Sean... this is a disaster waiting to happen, isn't it? How can the government or the National Crime Agency look British citizens in the eye and say that they have, at this moment in time, not done anything about this?
Look, to be fair, anybody who's surprised by this picture needs to understand that smuggling people is akin to drug dealing. And drug dealers love weapons. Of course, people smugglers going to have a weapon. They're meeting people, they're exchanging large amounts of cash. Of course they have weapons. This is of no surprise to me. I take you back to something I said more than 2 years ago on the show. You will never smash in these gangs unless you have a strong relationship with the government and the police from the country of origin. We simply don't have that. So Keir Starmer's idea of smashing the gangs is an absolute fantasy. That's the first piece. The second piece is you do not need a weapon to be dangerous to British citizens. We already have that. People are here, we don't know who they are, and we're not keeping track of them. That in and of itself is dangerous. I'd argue probably more dangerous than that weapon. The point is we need now to get past this idea. That's why Rwanda was important, because what Rwanda was doing, it was sending a message to the people smugglers that you could end up in Rwanda. Now that that's not there, the gates are open as far as they're concerned.
What we've managed to do here, I'll put this to you, Chris, is demonstrate who these people are, what their contact details are, their last known locations, and the fact that they're advertising, they're even still advertising and giving us locations for trips tomorrow, the fact that they appear to be armed to the teeth with semi-automatic rifles that you can go on mass killing sprees with, and there is nothing that seems at the moment to be stopping them bringing that into Britain. Would you not expect the authorities to be doing a bit more about this?
Well, look, I think if that was on a UK shore and you provided them with those details, they'd be acting on it immediately. The fact is, in France, we've got to respect their borders, and they're not respecting ours. But the bottom line is that until this border security bill comes through, and it's gone through legislative scrutiny bill in the House of Lords today, it should be coming through for royal assent soon, at which point the Border Security Command will be established. All of these new ways in which they can tackle the gangs, whether it's...
Why can't the SAS just slot it? Hold on, sorry, hang on a minute. So we've got a bloke there who appears to have a semi-automatic rifle, and I'm basically telling you where he is. Why can't the SAS just go and take him out?
They can't, because he's on foreign soil.
So what?
But here's the point. Aren't we paying the French to do that? The French could be doing it. So I would send your video to the French, who we are paying for this service. So let's be here, he's correct. You can't just send the SAS to France. That isn't how the world works. But you can send the French police to France.
I would send your video to MI6. That is our secret service for dealing with problems overseas. These criminal gangs are invading our shores. Where is James Bond when you need him? I mean, literally, where is he?
Again, one more time, for the reality people, you cannot just send the British Armed Forces to France.
Are you saying that we never slot anyone abroad?
I didn't say the armed forces. I said, what are MI6 doing?
That would roughly be the same thing.
And those... Just imagine the situation on the beach. There's the gang masters, or whoever they are, with AK-47s or AK-15s, whatever they are, and you've got gendarmes there. Who is going to win that battle?
The French police are armed. They have weapons.
They are not doing enough. And what we should be doing is actually deploying the army.
The
army
point,
and the Navy.
We cannot deploy our army on French soil. Let's get that point clear. We can't. Don't say it again. It's impossible.
I didn't say that, Sean. I didn't say on our... I said on our shores. They should be on our shores.
We are paying the French for something, And that something should be intervening.
Yes.
Yeah. Right there with those people with weapons on that side.
When Norman the Conqueror came over to these shores, he came with 7,000 people.
Yes.
And now they're coming with 15,000 in the first 5 months.
The thing that I would
we should be
just
taking
say
some
is,
action.
look, OK, fine.
William the
I know it's
Conqueror.
right. I personally... Yes, actually, well, fair enough. He was a Norman, though, wasn't he, to be fair? That washed over me at the time. So I think you got away with that. My point is it's about the level of potential risk, Chris, OK? What more do we have to do to prove that at any moment in time, some absolute madman with an AR-15 could, by the looks of it, wander into Britain? And he very easily could, because he's getting everyone else into Britain. He is a human trafficker, OK? So we have to do something. Keir Starmer, it doesn't seem to be kept awake at night by this. The British public, I think, will be watching this now and they'll be very, very worried about it.
Patrick, he's focused on the exact same thing you focused on, which is smashing the gangs, targeting the people smugglers. Well, you've got to... He's...
You know what the NCA said to us today, Chris? Sorry,
what did they say to you?
They said, we have nothing to comment on this. The National Crime Agency, I've sent them a video of a bloke with a semi-automatic rifle who's funneling people into Britain, and they didn't bother to give us a comment on it.
There would be procedures where they would be liaising with the French authorities and they should be passing that information on, and it should be acted on in realistic terms in about 1 or 2 weeks, which is far too long. But back to the point, the Border Security Bill, and we know that we've got this issue because we can't just deport them back to where they came from because of Brexit. We've been through that enough times before because we haven't got a deportation agreement. But what they're doing is they're going to be bringing in a lot more laws that are going to be working cross-party with the Border Security Command. There's Dunkirk detention centres coming through, and once bill's gone through, then that's when we should start seeing the ability to smash the gangs.
I sat in the Lords today and listened to that debate. It's a very good debate. You're largely right. There is some, but the problem is, I perceive, is that some of my colleagues in the Lords don't seem to understand just how cheeky and ruthless criminals are. There was a big debate around building a bill about who had to prove if they were guilty or not of having the tools to smuggle people across. And I dread to think we'll come down on a soft side of that.
It looks that way.
We've got to come down on a tough side to give the police...
Do people have to die? This is what I don't want... Sorry, but I think we are currently waiting for an absolutely devastating situation to happen, where someone like that, with a weapon like that, comes across the channel and opens fire on people and kills a load of British citizens. And what I'm saying is, I don't want to have to wait for that to happen. And from what I'm seeing from our authorities, they are just going to wait for it.
The time for more legislation, frankly, is over. The Labour Party repealed all the legislation that the Tories put forward. The Illegal Migration Act, which removed the path to citizenship. The safety of Rwanda.
The Labour Party removed the path to citizenship. Yours just criminalised them. That's the key difference. That is the deterrent. And what we're seeing now...
The deterrent was Rwanda, Chris, and your party removed that before it had even started.
The Rwanda plan was a non-starter.
So, number one, we have to have a deterrent. People will continue to come if there isn't a deterrent. Number two, the rate of granting asylum in the country is far too high. 61% are granted, compared with about 40% on the continent. And then number three, to your point, Patrick, the time for talking is over. We should be taking action against people who are arriving on our shores. If they have any sort of a firearm like that, they should simply be arrested straight away.
We can't return them to where they came from since the Brexit.
Some of them we can.
Sad we can't
some of them we
can't do it to France.
Some of the countries we have returned.
We put it in the Human Rights Act.
We don't want them to go to France.
Well, that's where they came from. They come from France. We used to be able to send them back.
I wouldn't take any notice
now we can't do that.
We're paying the French enough money. They should have them back.
Well, look. You know, I obviously we all do. We really hope nothing ever happens. But I can't believe that. You know, I'm in a position here where I say I don't know what more that myself and other people here at GBNews could have done to try to prevent something, because I do think there's an air of inevitability about it. Yeah, we've given them like loads of different smuggling gangs details now. We've given them to
MI6.
them. We've given them precise locations of where they are. We've told them everything, right? And we've shown them videos of a bloke with a semi-automatic gun there and a location of where he said he was earlier on in the week. What more can we do? What more can we do? Anyway, we're going to have to whiz ourselves on now. But coming up at 10:30, we have got the front pages. I know I keep teasing this. I'm sorry, I'm not doing this deliberately. We're not quite allowed to tell you about the full scale of the government U-turn yet, which most people seem to be reporting online. But anyway, over the welfare bill. Next, though.
But we recognise the grim reality today that the nuclear threat is growing.
We got talk of conscription. We're being told about nuclear war. The Church of England, this is weird, the Church of England has come out today and said they're preparing to be an at-war parish. So, well, I don't know what's going on there. Meanwhile, though, Sir Keir Starmer is wanting to prosecute Britain's veterans. So, would you really fight for a man who might decide to prosecute you for something you did in the name of king and country? Stay tuned.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers
have I ever got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Back in 2015, Thornton and Cleveley's resident Emma Shepherd noticed the grass in her garden wasn't growing. Within months, she had to put down Alfie, one of her beloved dogs who had developed throat cancer. Just weeks later, she developed a lesion on her back, which would later be diagnosed as skin cancer. She knew then that something wasn't right.
I wasn't really aware of the history of the ICI site when I took the property. I did so much investigation. I had the ground tested with my own money. There was high levels of metals in there and some obviously cancerous carcinogenics in there. They actually nicknamed me Erin Brockovich because I was so all over it.
Last year, a joint investigation was launched by the Environment Agency and the local council. That was following the discovery of PFOA, a man-made chemical that potentially causes cancer. Both parties told GB News they are now working together on this matter, whilst the company under investigation for the potential release of the substance had this to say. AGC Chemicals Europe sets the highest standards for itself and takes its commitments to the local community and to the environment extremely seriously. They added that they voluntarily phased out the use of PFOA in the UK by early 2012. Release of the substance was within the permits held by AGC Chemicals Europe at the time and also UK legislation in place at the time. And yet, 2 months ago, residents within a kilometre of the site received this letter from the council, advising them not to consume anything grown in their gardens due to potential PFOA contamination.
GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. Something big is coming.
Nuclear threat is growing. So we are renewing our existing at-sea capability, and we are going still further. I can tell the House today that we will procure at least 12 F-35A fast jets, and we will make them available to bear nuclear weapons if necessary. Mr. Speaker, this marks the return of the Royal Air Force to nuclear deterrence for the first time in 3 decades.
Talk of nuclear war. We're seeing headlines discussing what Britain will do if everyone in authority is killed. We're hearing headlines about conscription, aren't we? Brits are being warned that we must prepare for war. Even the Church of England, and this story landed about 2 hours before I came on air. Even the Church of England is now preparing for war. Its parishes are getting ready to act as a church in a time of conflict. Sir Keir Starmer seems to want you to fight for it, doesn't he? But look at today's Daily Mail front page. He seems happy to prosecute British military veterans for things they may or may not have done decades ago. So how can people fight for a man Who does that? I'm joined now by Afghanistan veteran Trevor Colt. Trevor, thank you very much. Great to see you. What do you make of this, really? Do you think that these quote-unquote historic prosecutions will put people off wanting to fight for Britain now?
Well, Patrick, before I start, thank you very much for having me back on your show after such a long break. Do you know what? This is what I like about GB News, because you give people the opportunity to get out realism and to get out proper stories. I'm going to be honest with you, Patrick. Keir Starmer is a liability for our national security. He does not do what's on the tin. I cannot wait for the next election to remove this traitor, treacherous person that does nothing but stand on the throats of United Kingdom Special Forces, the very men that keep us safe, the very men that keep him lying on his silk pillows with his silk pyjamas. He's a terrible leader. Now, we have seen that our UK Special Forces continually be thrown under the bus. I mean, let's be honest, our government actively gives money out to human rights lawyers to go after the very men that keep us safe. It's disgusting. These are the only men that are going to stop us from having a nuclear strike. And earlier on, when I seen a previous message on here, you said about UK Special Forces working abroad. And for those ex-politicians sitting on the sofa, they seem to be completely clueless. United Kingdom Special Forces work covertly with all international partners in all countries. So to sit there and think that they're not abroad is very, very naive. Our special forces are the ones that keep us safe, and they constantly get thrown under the bus by politicians, consecutive prime ministers, regardless what party it is, they are ignored.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, I'm going to put this to you because this is the case, obviously, for the idea of these historic prosecutions, which is that, you know, Britain is a proper country. If people have done wrong in a time of war, then really we should be holding them to account. So would you disagree with that, Trevor, do you think?
Well, of course I would disagree with it. Because I've been on the battlefield, I've seen what's happened. I have recently been accused of war crimes myself. What people don't understand is, right, you say there's a right way to do it or a wrong way to do it, but I'll tell you what, Patrick, the situation at the time dictates the actions you carry out. Whether it's right or wrong, you do what can keep the people around you safe to try and save lives. Now, it's very easy for people to sit in Whitehall and sit there with their pens or on social media trying to make judgments on soldiers that are in a life and death situation. But what they don't see is the fact that before every soldier deploys out of any camp gates on operations, they go through what's called an intelligence brief, and they find out what the threat is on the ground, whether it's a suicide bomber, whether it's a sniper attack, whether it's RPG, and you go out there and you have that in your head. Not only are you trying to move forward and win that open space, the battleground, you're trying to keep your friends, your battle buddies, your men alive, as well as save the lives of civilians. You work under not only the Geneva Convention, you work under the law of armed conflict, you work under your rules of engagement, you have about 6 different rules of different types of weapon systems and different things that you're in your head, and then you have to try and make a judgment call whether you should fire or not to eliminate someone that's a terrible
and there's also, I think as well, given the fact that the IRA are basically allowed to walk the streets and that you might get a knock on the door 40 years after you, so that's a bit of a shocker. Just the broader point, Trevor, quite quickly, I'm afraid, my good man, because we're off soon, but the broader point about this relentless talk now of World War III, nuclear war, the Church of England preparing for some kind of war footing. Is there something going on here, do you think? They're trying to prepare us psychologically for something?
It's a psychological warfare, and let's be honest, it doesn't matter what the Church of England do. Anyone fires a shot at you, I'm sure the Church of England will forgive them. You know what they're like.
OK, all right, well, that was short and sweet. There we go. Trevor, look, thank you very much, mate. All the best. You take care. Trevor Colt there, Afghanistan veteran. Right, coming up, yes, all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages, including, I think we're just going to do it, actually, when I come back. There appears to have been a Labour U-turn. It appears to be on the welfare and benefits stuff, so I will tell you what that is when I come back. Oh, and what's going on here?
What's he doing? Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Well, something wild has happened there. I'll tell you about it in just a sec. Stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello. Lots of hot and sunny weather around the Mediterranean at the moment. Temperatures rising again in Spain. Quite a brisk breeze blowing at times over the Canaries. Some fine sunny weather here, a bit breezy too along the Portuguese coast, but a lot of sunshine across much of Iberia, through Italy and across the Greek islands as well. It'll turn a little cooler across the eastern Med as we head into the weekend, but temperatures continuing to rise in Spain and Portugal on Saturday and Sunday.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello again and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Hot and sunny weather is on the way for many by the end of the weekend, but for the next 24 hours it's going to be very changeable, very mixed across the country, with thicker cloud returning to many northern and western parts overnight and outbreaks of rain along with tighter isobars. That means a freshening breeze. We do start with some clear spells during the evening, but quite quickly the thicker cloud rolls in from the west and we're going to see dreary conditions by dawn, especially towards the northwest, with outbreaks of rain for Western Scotland, Northern Ireland, Northwest England, North Wales. After some rain moves through earlier in the night, it's drying up by this stage across southern parts of the UK. Even some sunshine first thing through southern England, parts of the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast. But thick cloud further north and low cloud at that, so it's going to be covering some of these hills in Western Scotland, misty conditions around the coast. Drizzly outbreaks of rain, especially for central and western Scotland into northwest England, Northern Ireland. That rain will be on and off, but it will be persistent over some of the hills and mountains. Likewise for North Wales, but drier for South Wales, just one or two light showers. Equally, a few spots of rain, perhaps over Dartmoor, but mostly dry towards the southwest. And the best of the sunshine during the morning will be through the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast, where it will feel warm and increasingly humid once again, with the wind coming from the southwest. And that wind will be picking up strength across northern parts of the UK, bringing more persistent and heavier rain into Western Scotland, northwest England by the end of the afternoon, making it feel on the cool side, but temperatures up to 27 or 28 Celsius, where we see the sunshine in the southeast. That leads us on to a muggy night for sleeping and a grey start to the weekend for many of us. Now, the areas of rain across Scotland sink south into central parts of the country by Saturday afternoon and then fizzle away as high pressure builds in from the south. That's going to import much hotter air by the end of the weekend and the start of next week.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as
and now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight. We are just going to tell you about these alleged Labour U-turns, by the way, so just give me 1 sec, I'll rattle through the papers. The Guardian, massive concessions on welfare bill win over key Labour rebels. So they are talking of these, quotes, massive concessions. I believe I've got some more detail for you. The Daily Mail, Starmer caves into rebels on benefits. Keir Starmer was forced into a humiliating climb down, they say. The Daily Express, how dare you suggest she's on her deathbed? Dame Esther's daughter blasts repulsive fake images. OK, sorry, but forgive me, isn't the point of this that she is on her deathbed?
I thought that's why she wanted the
I don't mean to be
legislation.
unkind to Esther Ransom, but isn't that the point of the assisted dying bill? OK, we'll whiz ourselves onto the Daily Telegraph. Starmer caves into rebels on benefits. PM climbs down. You know what? Let's just do it. Bring up that breaking wipe. There we go. The Prime Minister has reportedly reached a deal with his rebel backbenchers over its planned benefits changes. So, existing claimants of the Personal Independent Payment, PIP, to you and me, will allegedly continue to receive what they currently get. So there you go. That's the climb down. They are going to receive, reportedly, what they currently get, as will recipients of the health element of universal credit. So there we are. It's a massive humiliation for the Prime Minister. Don't forget, this was him just 2 days ago.
Must have a welfare system fit for the future, and the current model doesn't work. It desperately needs reform. It leaves people trapped and not able to get into work, and so we need to reform it, and that's what we will do.
No, you won't, because this breaking news is this. Existing claimants of PIP will allegedly continue to receive what they currently get, exactly what they currently get, as will recipients of the health element of universal credit. So, there we go. Quite an embarrassment, that, Chris.
Yeah, it's an embarrassment. I mean, I can't argue for
there goes the Ofcom balance.
Yeah, well, as a Labour man, I am embarrassed by this turnout, and I think that the MPs are the backbenchers that have been, pulled
Chris,
us into
you keep saying this, but it's weak. A strong Prime Minister can carry his back or her backbenchers, like Blair did, like Thatcher did.
What we've got here, we've got a bunch of MPs that have not looked at the numbers. We haven't got their welfare system fit for purpose, and they've gone on sort of rolled it over with what I can only see as...
What we have here is a woolly woofter Prime Minister. The New Zealand definition.
Good. What's really bad about this? What's really bad about this is the people. Imagine for a second you're a 18, 19-year-old kid who's getting this, yeah, and your friend who's 17 this year had just become 18, just finished their A-levels, and thinks they're going to do this. They won't be doing it. So now you're going to have this gross, unfair line in society where some
what
get something.
What I don't get, he said he didn't want people trapped in benefits. He's now reversed everything, so they're still trapped.
OK. So, I will just clarify. I think there's a turn of phrase used there that I think actually you meant cowardly, didn't you? That's what you meant. Yes, OK, well, good. You meant cowardly because sometimes in slang it can mean something else, which you did not mean.
Right, that's different.
That's good. It's very different. Very different. I know. Just want to clarify. However, so we've got one of your backbenchers here. This is Labour MP Clive Lewis. He's tweeted this in the last few moments. He says, every MP will have to weigh up the deal for themselves. Alas, this smacks of a face-saving exercise more than it does doing right by my sick and disabled constituents. No impact assessment, no co-production with disabled groups, no deal. I'll still be voting against. And actually, I saw Diane Abbott tweet as well, or whoever writes her tweets, saying that she's going to be voting against. The only thing that will do for them is the total destruction of this bill.
Well,
it's gone to pot. He's caved in, and it's still not enough.
That would be the total humiliation.
But this is the omni-shambles nature of this. He stood up and said it traps people, we must do it. And he took the pain then, he U-turned and is continuing to take the pain, and now he's added to his pain because he looks weak.
Yeah.
The key thing for me was this was the right move for the whole country. It would have been a great manoeuvre as a Prime Minister. He looks weak, and his backbenchers are still going to assault him if they're too tweaked.
The benefit of the changes is that the eligibility criteria is going to be tightened up. Okay. And what we've seen is a number of people who do not match the long-term health statistics changing, claiming. So if we can at least cap it off. I mean, it should be going further, in my opinion. That's my opinion. But for Clive Lewis to come out and say that, it's just it just goes to show within the Labour Party we've got too many of these hard left lot that just don't care about dealing what's right for the country.
This is the thing. Look, there's no point giving in. There are certain sectors in society that I think there's no point even thinking about, right? So radical Islamists are one of them because there's nothing you can ever do that appeases them. The radical Green lobby, that's another lot. I think the radical LGBT, there's nothing you can ever do that appeases these people. The rabid anti-monarchists, again, what's the point? Sir Keir Starmer's finding out here, isn't he, now? So he's in order to try to win reform voters, he thought he'd do his big Island of Strangers speech, which went down like a cup of cold sick with anyone on the left, so he lost them.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, well, it's one of the few things I've agreed with him about it. But then he comes out with this now and he's thinking, oh, gosh, OK, we want to get the welfare. I need to try to appease the hard left, so I'll scrap it. And it turns out they still hate him.
What's happening is he's made a rod here for his own back, and now it's going to get more and more difficult. And basically, they're reverting to form. What we all knew was going to happen. He's now going to be beholden to the hard left of his party, and they're going to spend, and we're going to have tax rises.
I can imagine a situation in a month, a week, a year when he's less popular and his backbenchers think, well, let's just force as many U-turns as we can and we'll get our own girl or guy in there, you know.
Well, this is. I'm just trying to look to see if there's any more reaction about this online now from Labour MPs, from some of the usual suspects. But I've got, Guido Fawkes. Starmer bins his welfare reform package in a humiliating climb down after a massive backbench rebellion. So there's that. I mean, this is going. I mean, realistically, how long can this guy survive?
Well, Angela Rayner's going to be massively on manoeuvres now, isn't she? I mean, she's looking incredibly comfortable the last couple of weeks at the dispatch box. Clearly, she enjoys it. Which is something that Starmer doesn't, and presumably there are going to be other Labour front benches.
That'll be the end of the Labour Party, as we know, if Angela Rayner ever gets there. What Keir Starmer's done is at least calm them down for now. We've got other bits of news that's in there talking about one in, one out from France and looking at how we're actually going to be returning some of the illegal migrants. And I think those arguments he's probably saving himself for.
I mean, this is a let's just bring up some of these front pages again, can we? So bear in mind, these were written before we had the absolute knowledge of what we allegedly know now, right? So the Daily Mail, Starmer caves into rebels on benefits. Bosh, that's one of them, gone. Then we've got the Daily Telegraph. Starmer caves into rebels on benefits. Bosh, that's another paper there. The Guardian, massive concessions on welfare. That's gone. I imagine I'll be bringing a couple more papers to you in the next segment as well. I think we can all guess what's on those, can't we? Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride has been quick to critique the government. There we are, taking it in his stride, hasn't he? Blasting the government by saying, this is the latest in a growing list of screeching U-turns from this weak Labour government. And the problem, Chris, I dare say, going forward now, is that the next time he says, look, I'm going to do this, I want to do this because I've got conviction about it, and it's unpopular. And those Labour MPs say, well, all right, I'm going to have to go on the doorstep and I'm going to have to try and sell something unpopular. They're not going to do it because they know he's going to U-turn on it in about 3 weeks' time.
Yep.
Look, he's got things right on defence, right? And I think if we're going to be saving ourselves for a 5% defence spending, this is just one battle. And there's going to be a lot more that will be coming up soon. And there'll be moments in time where the Tories and Reform are going to have to look themselves in the eye. And are they going to align themselves with Jeremy Corbyn, or are they going to align with Keir Starmer?
Sure. What does he do now? Because ultimately, as Anna was saying in the earlier segment, there's going to have to be some book balancing here. If you're going to continue that breaking news, that basically everyone who's on PIP and people who are on the health aspects of universal credit is going to stay the same, you're not making any savings, are you, really? So what's he going to do? Who's paying for it?
There's two things. He talked about 39 billion in the spending review. Talk about 39 billion for housing. That doesn't mean anything unless it's repeated in the budget, etc., etc. Let's see how long that 39 billion remains 39 billion. Of course, we talk about 5% on defence, but that's over 5 years, I think it is. 10 years, excuse me. Let's see if that money actually materialise. But there's one thing I can guarantee you will materialise. Tax rises. Right. Now, where those tax rises are, we don't know, because the fundamental mistake the government made is promising not to raise income tax and corporation tax. And the problem with that is that's 70% of their tax take. So now they have to raise all the small taxes again and again and again, but they're the ones that really bite. So let's see which one of those go up.
I think one of the main things you've got to take here is Rachel Reeves has been committed to fiscal credibility. Since the Liz Truss mini-budget, there was the more on premium for the average G7. So we've had 4 base rate cuts, but our gilt rates haven't gone down. They've actually maintained. So this is the kind of situation where these decisions are going to be maintaining that premium to the rest of the G7. So it's going to have to be something that's going to be some real
watch this space. Thank you. Just to recap on this. So that breaking news is that there are very strong rumours that Sir Keir Starmer is going to basically just U-turn massively when it comes to welfare and benefits, and that we think that includes keeping everyone who's on PIP exactly how it is, followed by anyone who's on the health aspects of universal credit staying exactly the same as well. Massive cave-in, massive climb down, bit embarrassing. So watch this space for more detail as we get it. But, hey, look, if you're not getting your benefits cut anymore, but even if you are, here's the chance to win 54,321 quid in cold, hard, tax-free cash. Take it away, Hayley Sparks.
We're here at Downhall in Essex to enjoy the finer things in life, and it's your chance to win £54,321 in cash. It's like having an extra £1,000 in your bank account each week for a whole year, which means that you'd be able to indulge in treats whenever you wanted to. That extra cash each week could send some of those day-to-day financial stresses packing this year to enable you to sit back, relax and do nothing. Make sure you don't miss out on our biggest cash giveaway to date.
For another chance to win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Welcome back. Coming up, more of tomorrow's newspaper front pages and more of this rumoured Labour U-turn, which isn't really a rumour anymore, is it? But anyway, let's have a look at what's going on here as well.
What's he doing? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Any ideas what happens next on that bus? Stay tuned.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
My eye this morning, because I say it all the time. You can't say gents at work. You're deemed to be not inclusive.
It's not inclusive. This comes from a tribunal which took place where a woman took umbrage at one of her bosses using the term in an email, dear gents. Well, you can't use the word gent. I mean, I wonder what it's like when you go to the gents now, whether you have to say going to the non-gender specific lavatories. It's a phrase. It shows that you're a bit old, they say, using the word gents. Now, I mean, I don't regard myself as old, although some may disagree with that.
This caught my eye as well, because one of your lovely presenters, who's on, I believe, at 6 o'clock, Michelle Dewberry, she very often says, you know, thank you, gents. I don't think she's
polite.
I don't think she's going to be changing. But
No,
when you look into this story, there was a little bit more to this than meets the eye, because this email was sent round by management in this insurance company, and one of the ladies who was on a list to be made redundant, along with men, used that email as evidence as to why there was discrimination going on. So there was a little bit more to this, and what the court said was that, you know, this was clumsy language, but this was managerial incompetence. And I don't think we should in any way take that as meaning it's got any wider.
So hang on, the court even said it's clumsy language?
The court said it was clumsy language. I mean, they shouldn't be using that language, but what I'm saying is I don't think this means that we have to all change our behaviour because of this one.
But what next, Anna?
Decision.
I've noticed a trend among, particularly in younger people, to call people guys, even women.
Yeah.
GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's round off tomorrow's newspaper front pages, starting with The Sun. Killer back stalking Cheryl. It's an exclusive. Cheryl Cole's terror as a killer stalker is apparently harassing her again. He visited a building in Buckinghamshire last week, which presumably is related to her, and he faces up to 5 years in jail when he's sentenced for other offences. So Cheryl's terror. He broke a ban on going to into her house. Gosh. The Independent, Starmer cracks, PM forced into welfare talks with rebel MPs. We obviously can now reveal that it looks like he's gone even further than that. It's not talks. There appears to be a genuine agreement, a genuine U-turn when it comes to welfare. More on that in the next hour when we delve into it. The Labour rebels forced Starmer to water down benefits cuts. So again, I mean, this is just all over the papers tomorrow. Then we've got the Times. Jeff Bezos snogs the face off his now wife, Lauren Sanchez. So that's great, fantastic. And actually, oh gosh, look at her. She's wearing clothes in this picture. That's nice. Anyway, the Prime Minister pledges protections for disabled to rescue the bill. Is, in my opinion, quite a bad way of wording what is a monstrous U-turn. They've also got a story there. Palestine Action boasts that members are radicalising others in jail. So Palestine Action is apparently about to be prescribed, boasting of radicalising other people. But there's a story at the bottom of the Times here, UK and France to agree a migrant return deal. So this is a one-in, one-out deal from what I think. Go on, Sean, what is it?
Not a one-in, one-out.
What is it?
Sounds like the French clearing their problem with their backlog. Because what one in, one out would suggest that the numbers are not going to go up. If you read the detail of this deal, we'll be accepting people which is meant to be a legitimate asylum claim. With our high rate of granting asylum, our numbers will go up. And France's numbers will go down and ours will go up. That seems to be the net result of this deal.
OK. How can you argue against that? They're going to be talking about... The French Interior Minister said there's going to send a clear message to migrants. There's a European Stability Initiative that's in the Daily Telegraph, which explains it a little bit more, where they're even saying that you know, without a 100% return rate, there'll be no deterrent to crossings. So what they're saying is they're coming into number 10, giving them the advice that that France are actually going to be taking back, you know, asylum seekers or illegal migrants is a good thing.
Yeah.
We cannot be...
Yeah, but what about the fact that France are going to be sending us people that they have in France? So it's a good thing for France. It doesn't feel that's a good thing for us.
They're setting up a dual processing thing in France that says if you've got legitimate family reunification reasons, then you can be sent. So it's not just a free-for-all like they've got now.
Well, the line in the Times, I'll just read this. So Sir Keir Starmer and President Macron are working on a deal that would allow Britain to return illegal migrants who cross the Channel in small boats to France. In return, Britain would accept migrants with a legitimate case for joining family already.
Well, I've got a number of problems with this. First of all, we have paid the French now hundreds of millions of pounds to take action. So we shouldn't be having to take any more. They should now be honouring their side of the agreement and actually taking people back that they should never have allowed to leave their shores in the first place.
We're going to knock it on the head there because we're going to do the papers, obviously, in the next hour. Have I got time to play a clip from this bus crash? Yeah, here, look at this.
He's just had a major crash and now he's speeding off. Get away from the windshield! We're going to die. We're actually going to die. What's he doing? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We're actually going to die.
It turned out that, despite the fear, no one actually did die. However, lots of people were injured, seriously. The driver apparently claims that the brakes weren't working, but there we go, the accelerator clearly was. Anyway, right, thank you very much, everybody. Stay tuned. I've got a whole load of stuff coming your way in just a second for Patrick Christys tonight, late edition. What a set of front pages, plus, of course, loads of breaking news. Stay tuned.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello again and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. Hot and sunny weather is on the way for many by the end of the weekend, but for the next 24 hours, it's going to be very changeable, very mixed across the country, with thicker cloud returning to many northern and western parts overnight, and outbreaks of rain along with tight isobars. That means a freshening breeze. We do start with some clear spells during the evening, but quite quickly, the thicker cloud rolls in from the west, and we're going to see dreary conditions by dawn, especially towards the northwest, with outbreaks of rain for Western Scotland, Northern Ireland, Northwest England, North Wales. After some rain moves through earlier in the night, it's drying up by this stage across southern parts of the UK. Even some sunshine first thing through southern England, parts of the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast. But thick cloud further north and low cloud at that, so it's going to be covering some of these hills in western Scotland, misty conditions around the coast. Drizzly outbreaks of rain, especially for central and western Scotland into northwest England, Northern Ireland. That rain will be on and off, but it will be persistent over some of the hills and mountains, likewise for North Wales, but drier for South Wales, just 1 or 2 light showers. Equally, a few spots of rain, perhaps over Dartmoor, but mostly dry towards the southwest. And the best of the sunshine during the morning will be through the Midlands, East Anglia and the southeast, where it will feel warm and increasingly humid once again with the wind coming from the southwest. And that wind will be picking up strength across northern parts of the UK, bringing more persistent and heavier rain into western Scotland, northwest England by the end of the afternoon, making it feel on the cool side, but temperatures up to 27 or 28 Celsius, where we see the sunshine in the southeast. That leads us on to a muggy night for sleeping and a grey start to the weekend for many of us. Now, the areas of rain across Scotland sink south into central parts of the country by Saturday afternoon and then fizzle away as high pressure builds in from the south. That's going to import much hotter air by the end of the weekend and the start of next week.
Even though we'll see a cloudy start, it'll be a bright outlook for the rest of the day. Boxed Solar, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Well, strap yourselves in for Patrick Christys tonight, late edition. What a set off front pages. Sir Keir Starmer is in the toilet. He has U-turned big time when it comes to welfare and benefits. He's also planning a one-in, one-out deal with the French when it comes to illegal immigration. Palestine Action, that soon-to-be prescribed terrorist organisation, are apparently radicalising people in jail. They are boasting about it. And Esther Ransom, believe it or not, is not actually on her deathbed. Well, there we go.
We're kick-starting summer with your chance to win our biggest cash prize to date, as there's an incredible £54,321 in tax-free cash to be won. What would you spend it on? A brand new car, the holiday of a lifetime, or just sit back, relax and remove some of those day-to-day financial stresses? For another chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christys Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christys Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 3rd year in a row.
So thank you so much for voting for us.
First, and hopefully there'll be a few more to come down the line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's because of you that we're proud to be the People's Channel. It's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
Good evening, it's 11 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys, and this is Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition, breaking right now. The Prime Minister has caved to the rebels, dodging what was dubbed a no-confidence vote on benefits and welfare. Another astonishing U-turn. Meanwhile,